It's the Dressman Show.
Hey, Proko. This is Seaver. I'm calling from Norway. Loving the podcast. It's great sort of background chatter while sketching. My question is, how do you guys know when a painting is finished? How do you know when to stop rendering as to not sort of draw all the life out of it? That's it. Thank you.
I don't know, and I've had a lifelong reputation of continuing to work on it and continuing to work on it and continuing to work on it until I worked it into...
Till you worked the life out of it.
Yeah, I worked the life out of it. Yeah, I've done that more times than I can count.
Well, I know it's done when I'm done with it.
So, is there someone that you have in your studio who says...
No, when I'm done.
When you're you're taking responsibility.
Yeah.
Good answer.
I'm making a decision to be done.
Just walk away.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, okay, well then how do you make that decision?
That's what we're looking for.
Yeah. I guess, okay, so when I approach a drawing or a painting, I usually have a plan. I'm not just like feeling it out. And when that plan is executed, I'm done.
This means that you have a vision of what it should look like.
Yeah. So usually I'll cover the whole thing and I'll be like, well, it could be done. I've finished shading all the areas that should be shaded, but I might not be happy with some parts. So I'll take another pass through it, fix some things, and then I'll get to the point where I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah. There's obviously things I could improve, but in order to really improve maybe this knee, I should probably just start over and just do another knee. So I'm done with this one. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. It is an emotional call.
Yeah.
And some people, I've had that example. I could do more. I could do more. I could do more. And there's not that critical assessment to say, but it wouldn't make it better to do more. And that's a call.
Yeah.
There's a saying about watercolorists that it takes two people to do a watercolor. One is for the watercolorist to do the watercolor, and the other is for the person to be right behind them and hit them over the head hard when the watercolor is done. Because one of the most common things is to keep working it and not let the water be itself.
Yeah.
Well, there's another thing. I remember saying to William Stout 20-some years ago, why I wasn't a painter is that when I paint, I always overwork it. And he immediately jumped on that and said, what do you mean overwork it? And he explained that there are stages of a painting, that it needs to go through the next one, or it doesn't need to go through the next one. But if it's going to go through the next one, that there are distinct levels of how much it needs to be worked, and that you could work on a painting for 150 hours and make it better and better. But it has to do with the wisdom of whether it needs it or not.
Or whether you want to take it to that next level, or you're fine with it does what you wanted it to do at this stage already, and you don't need to spend another 100 hours on it.
I've spent over 100 hours on pieces that I don't regret, that they wouldn't have been what they were if I had not put that much into it.
Yeah.
This may be the kind of thing where you have someone else who says, that's enough. It's not going to get better if you keep working on it.
Yeah. There's another part to it. I was mentioning how, there comes a point where I could say I could improve this part of the drawing, but it would probably be better just to do that over again, because some things like line quality, it's like, okay, I'm just gonna have to erase these lines to make a better line. Like, I'm just not happy with the dexterity. Maybe my hand was tight and I just wasn't loose with my strokes, and they look kind of uncertain.
Yes.
And that's when you should just redo it. And that reminds me of Bernie Wrightson. Or was it you that told me about the book that they released with his failed inkings, or the ones he thought were failures, and he redid them?
Yes.
I was looking at a few of them a few days ago. And like, when you look at just the failed one, it looks amazing.
It's amazing.
It's like, oh, that's great. And then you look at the one that made it into the book, it's like, oh, okay. Well, yeah, he did improve it.
He did improve it,
But he wouldn't have been able to keep working on that first one to make it that new one.
Yes.
He had to start over and redo it.
Yes.
So sometimes...
tearing down and rebuilding rather than tweaking.
Yes. Sometimes it's not about just keep going and keep fixing. It might be quicker and you might get a better result if you just do it again.
Yeah, Baron Story is big on that. That you destroy it and then start over again. Claire Windling does her drawings over and over and over. Each one can be a rehearsal until the one that is a rehearsal, it doesn't need to be a rehearsal anymore because it was good enough as a finished piece. That's one of the advantages of drawing. You just keep doing it until one of them works, and that's the one.
Low-do-de-do-do, low-de-do-de-do-do, low-do-do-do-do.